I am the creator of my own reality and the architect of my own life. Doesn't that feel powerful when we think of it like that? Find out how right now. Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, a podcast helping women in career and life transitions achieve clarity on their next steps so they can transform uncertainty into an energizing next chapter. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and the founder of It's My Time Now Coaching. If you're wondering what's next in your career or life, you are in the right place. Through solo and guest episodes, you'll gain practical tips, tools, and inspiration to help you uncover blocks, gain confidence, and be, do, and have what you want. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, where today we're diving into a topic that touches every one of us, life transitions. And what happens when we finally choose to become the architects of our own lives? If you're in a season of change, maybe you're feeling lost, unmotivated, or unsure of your next step, this episode is your invitation to pause, reflect, and intentionally redesign the next phase of your life and work. In this episode, you'll discover the 3 stages of every transition and how to move through them with clarity, why designing your career and life with intention is a key to long-term fulfillment, and how reconnecting with your passions and strengths can guide you back to your reason for being or your Ikigai. If you've ever wondered whether it's too late to reinvent yourself, I promise you it's not. You'll leave this episode not only inspired, but empowered to take even one small step toward the life you know you're meant to live. So grab a cup of tea, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I hope you're doing really well and excited for the week ahead. So let me start there. If you're not excited for the week ahead, why not? It's a simple question and one that I'd love to discuss today. But before I get into that, I want to share some personal things in this episode that are going on in my life that have honestly left me feeling a little bit unmoored. Excited for sure, but also a bit overwhelmed, if I'm going to be honest. So many of you know that I have 2 wonderful sons who I absolutely adore. As we were raising our young family, my husband and I put a lot of love and effort, as most people do, into raising them into fine young men, and my goodness, they have not disappointed. Both of them, in their own way, have turned out to be incredible young men, successful, loving, kind, and respectful. As I designed my own career when they were young, I wanted to be there for them as much as possible. My husband has always had a big career that has always required considerable travel, especially when they were younger. So we designed our lives together and careers together intentionally so that I would be the primary caregiver of my children, and that was okay. My previous career was fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it was one in which I always tended to put the brakes on if it required me to lose that work-life balance because I wanted to truly be more available for my boys. As they grew up and moved away, a major life transition happened for me in that now we were empty nesters. I know that this is the case for many of you, and I'm going to remind you here about what the stages of a transition are, just as a recap from previous episodes. So the first phase of a transition is a trigger. That's when something triggers you to contemplate what's next. Then we have the in-between phase where we're trying to figure out what's next. And then there is the action phase where we put whatever we figured out from the second phase into action. I wanted to share that because what I'm talking about here really relates to the triggers that we all face. So here I was, newly empty nested, and that was my trigger, or one of them anyway, that led me to rediscover who I was and what I really wanted for myself. This is when I decided that I needed to uncover more of my potential in my work, where before I may have put the brakes on. This led me to my reinvention as a coach, a podcaster, and what led me to be here speaking with you today about this, to be honest. So, why am I telling you this? Because if I look back at my life, and I want you to do the same with complete honesty, did you design your life intentionally, or did you just respond to things as they came and adjusted accordingly? I think this is such a key question, my friend, because if we just respond to things as they happen, we are not in control of our lives at all. And we must be in control of our own lives. When my kids were younger, I intentionally chose work that would fit into my lifestyle, yet still fulfill me. When they left for school and work, I intentionally decided to ramp up and choose work that would align with who I was at the time, what would align with my strengths, my values, and my passions, or my Ikigai. And it has led to beautiful things and people coming into my life since then. Now, my friends, I find myself at a crossroads again. Both my boys are going to be married in the next 2 to 3 years, both of them. They have found exceptional partners, and I couldn't be happier and more excited for them. But oh my goodness, it's happening so fast. Now I am finding myself at the cusp of yet another major life transition, which is being triggered by engagements and marriages and the addition of two new beautiful souls into our family. So as I sit here today, I'm realizing that I am entering an entirely new phase of my life, that of being a mother in law and soon to be grandmother. And frankly, that is overwhelming me. Do you feel that way too? I will be turning 59 this August, and next year my son is getting married, and I'll be turning 60. That is both exciting and scary, but this is the key, and this is what I really want you to hear today. I am going to design my life the way I want it, yet again. I'm not going to let circumstances and people sway me one way or the other, because I am the creator of my own reality and the architect of my own life. Doesn't that feel powerful when we think of it like that? So many times, as women especially, we forget our own desires and dreams, or they get buried. Rightly so, and that often circumstances in life come in the way as well. I know that. I know we all have responsibilities, and I accept them. For example, I have aging parents who I know I will have to look after, and eventually I will lose them, which will be a big transition. My boys will have children, and I will have responsibilities which I will cherish to look after them also. But how do I want to design my life? I want to design it to include this work, which I love so much. I want to design it to include being able to coach and advise people like you to design their lives. And that fuels me. I want to design my life to write my books, which are inside of me, to travel the world in places I've never been, to learn from other cultures and experiences, to look after my own health, to rekindle and maintain that spark in my marriage. All these things are for me, and that is not being selfish. It is understanding who I want to be and how I can design my life to have it, all of it. It is possible. I want you to know that and believe that for you today. I know what you may be thinking. All the doubts are creeping up in your mind right now, right? How could I possibly do that? I have bills to pay. Or it's easy for her to say. She seems to have figured it all out. Let me tell you something right now. I don't have it all figured out, and I also have fears and doubts. But if you stop focusing on what you cannot do or what is coming in your way, but instead focus on what you can do, that is when the magic happens. I talk here a lot about anabolic energy, and that comes from my training as a core energy coach. What that means is, where in your life can you bring in that anabolic or positive energy? What brings you joy? What lights you up? If you even bring a bit of those things into your life every day, the path will unfold much easier. We are all programmed, especially now with so many constantly negative messages, that the world is going to hell or everything is wrong. I really want you to focus on the positives in your life. What is really good about it? What are you really good at? What can you do for hours on end when the time will fly by? And why don't you do more of that? What do you value that you really want to bring out more into the world? This is your Ikigai or your reason for being, and you have every ability, every right to bring it into your life today, not later, when we often put things off due to every excuse in the book. Now is the time, my friend. I have promised to myself that I'm going to design this next very exciting phase and transition in my life with intention and purpose. I want you to do that too, and I can help. But first, my friend, you have to believe it is possible. Do you? What is stopping you? So, going back to the stages of a transition, we can have many transitions going on in our life at once. My personal transition into mother in lawhood and eventually grandmahood is new. My career transition is still ongoing in that I still have so much I want to accomplish in this new career I have built. It is an ongoing process of reflection, adjustment, fear, stops and starts, but always action. Never stop taking even a bit of action every day towards your goals, because if you do stop taking that action, your mind will take over with all the doubts, all the I can't do this is, or all that I could never be as successful as her thoughts. If you stop these thoughts in their track and ask yourself, why are they here? The answer will 9 times out of 10 be to keep you safe. And you don't need to be kept in that little box of safety anymore. When we expand ourselves and break those boxes around us, great things happen. They have for me, and they will for you too. I'm convinced of it. So, back to that initial question. Are you excited for what this week ahead is going to bring? Why or why not? You can design your life to make it exceptional rather than dreading it. So, thank you for listening to my personal story and revelation that I am actually entering a new phase or transition. I'm so excited for myself, and I'm so excited for you. Truly, I am. And I'd love to hear from you. What phases of transitions are you going through, and how are you approaching them? Are you becoming the architect of your own life, or letting life live you? I'm here for you to talk. Reach out to me today, and let's do that. Till next time, my friend, remember, it is your time now. With all my love, stay well.